Well, hello, lucky lady. Hello.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't know why I said that.
Forrest. Why'd you call? Wait. Why'd you call what?
I don't know what the Irish was, and I don't know why I called you a lucky lady. But
You called me a lucky lady.
tonight, beautiful.
That completely threw me. I came in thinking I'm going to do a little bit, but you just okay. Hey, look, you can call me a lady. You can call me whatever you want, my dear friend.
Do you know what? I think it's because I'm quite attracted to you tonight because of your hairstyle, mate.
It's on fleek, isn't it?
Honestly, the little floppy nature of the fringe that's getting me hot under my white collar. That is, mate. I tell you, it is flopping about like nobody's business.
If you want to see a floppy fringe, well, you've got to watch this on YouTube.
Let's just get that advert straight out there.
Let's get it straight out. Yeah, well, do you want me to tell you why it's like this? So I'm growing this on the top of my head a little bit longer than usual. Sometimes I think during the autumn I like having floppy hair. Don't know why. Just the thing, isn't it? I suppose. Something nice about running your hands through your hair. No, do you do that? You don't do that, do you?
Well, I can't because my hair is so thick. It's just like an obstacle that can't move, mate. So, you know, I don't really have the wonderful straight like.
I love how your hair grows outwards.
Yes, I just get it. I just get afro. That's me, mate. Afro, and everywhere as well. Beard.
You should let it go.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen me tonight?
But this is as far as it goes, though, isn't it? For you, you're going to probably go to the barbs this weekend, right?
Yeah, and just like because otherwise it would just be uncontrollable. It'd be, you'd be. Where do I find Forrest and all that? Like what?
That's unbelievable.
What am I?
I love it though. I think it's great. It's like you're like a teddy bear. You're like a cute teddy bear. We just want to, Well,
in that case, if that's not driving me, let me keep it.
We are flirting today.
All
right.
That's
how we're kicking off this episode.
You're slurping a brewdog, mate. That's how you're
I am
today. Look at you, punk IPA in it.
There was a cheeky little alcohol-free in the fridge, and it's absolutely ice cold. It is delightful. It's been in that fridge for ages. It's on my forehead. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Forrest, before we do anything, I need to tell you something.
You do. Do you?
I do. No, seriously, dear listener, I do. I got to tell you all this. Forrest, I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning. My kids aren't very well. It's that typical kind of second week into the term where everybody gets ill. When I say everybody, I mean kids.
Fresh as flu.
It's kind of that. It is. But anyway, they've all got like chest infections. We're not sleeping very well. Neither of us are. I woke up about 7 o'clock today, which is kind of normal anyway for any parent. But I got downstairs. I got on my phone, and for some reason, my phone told me to order a Spider-Man limited edition PS5 console with the game.
Oh my god! Because you sent me a message this morning to say that, and I misread it because I forgot you own a PS4 at the moment, don't you?
Yeah, I'm only a PS4 player right now.
Your PS4, and so I misread it because I thought you just meant a skin for your PS5, forgetting you don't currently have a PS5. So I was like, oh, brilliant, fantastic. And then I was like, oh shit, you've gone like full out.
Yeah.
And what you haven't said is you know, Rach is unaware of this.
She's gonna find out via this podcast. That's why I had to say it fairly quietly. No.
Oh my.
So
God,
this is my confession. This is my confession.
I know Rach. Rach is, she is an accepting person, quite tolerant person.
She is.
But I can only assume that's going to go down like shitting in the doorway. Like,
you're going to have to come back next week, dear listener, to find out how it goes. I might not have a PS5 or a PS4. or a house to live in.
What was the cost? Was it on sale or?
Nope.
Oh god!
Nope.
And it's a brand new game, brand new skin, and
Controller.
And fairly new. Oh shit! The controller.
The controller's got skin as well. Yeah. I mean, it is great. It is really cool.
Are you just gonna like when it arrives? You're gonna pretend a friend's got it for you?
I don't.
Oh my god!
I can't do that. No.
Who's gifted me?
I would say it's you.
All right. Yeah, Forrest just got, he thought we're doing really well at the moment. We've earned absolutely nothing from the podcast, but he's looking at it long term and he's thought, right, let's start gaming. Let's go harder or go home. Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, Matt, don't scare me. Hello, Matthew. Oh, no. Oh, where is he? Where is he? Hello, Matt. Earth to Matthew. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Maybe Rach has already found out. I reckon Rach has found out, pulled his internet, and that's it. That's the last we've ever heard from Matt. Look at his smile. That smile has faded because Rachel has walked into the room and just absolutely torn him a new one. It's unbroadcastable. That's why he's disappeared. I don't know where he's gone, ladies and gents, but normally it's quite often me in this scenario, but I don't think it is. Here he is. He's returning. Hello.
For God's sake.
Hello, mate.
It literally, the internet just done that glitch where it just bleeps itself off and comes back on.
I was just, I was saying to everybody that actually, did Rach come into the room, hear what you had to say, tore you a new one, and just ripped off the internet?
I should have come back on like, oh my God, guys, I gotta go.
Oh no!
I'm Peggy.
And now Peggy's in it. Peggy, no! Please don't do what you've done before. That's good. Good thought. Yeah, come off the table. Off the table. Okay. There we go.
Anyway, we have spent 7 minutes not talking about the thing we have come here to talk about in this episode. And it's one particular episode that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I do feel like I've said that a lot over the last few weeks, but we've had some really great movies and TV shows. But this is our first of the two-parter of us reviewing Moon Knight.
And that is the first ever time, once this goes live on YouTube, that you'll actually see us during that intro.
Absolutely rocking out.
What a bizarre state of affairs that we've got to. After
I felt like we were just eyeballing each other during that bit.
Yeah, a bit too much, mate. I
quite
felt,
intense.
That was it was very, extremely intense. But yes, Moon Knight. We're here.
Moon Knight.
So this means we are now in 2022's MCU film and TV.
God, that's mad. That's mad.
We are, March 22. So we're nearly at the point where this podcast first was released.
Very close.
So
yeah.
we're massively caught up in near about a year and a half. It'll come up to a year and a half in a couple of months, a few months.
It's mad to think that we've got through so much content, but like I was actually thinking about all the other legacy characters, the DC Elseworlds, all that kind of stuff that we're still yet to have to review. So I'm actually quite looking forward to when we do catch up and what this podcast will be in format, what we'll be able to do. There's going to be all kinds of things we'll be able to kind of like shake up. But like talking about Moon Knight. This is a series that when I watched it the first time, so this is the second viewing for me, I absolutely adored it the first time round. And if we're going straight into overview thoughts, we are going to be reviewing episode 1 to 3 in this episode, And then next week, we're going to be talking about episode 4 to 6. This is how we do it with our Disney MCU TV series. So we're going to do it with Moon Knight as well. There's only 6 episodes. And in terms of length, they're kind of like feature, aren't they? Well, when I say feature for TV shows.
Yeah, reasonably long. I think about 45, 50 minutes, excluding end credits, I'd say.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, okay, so second time watching it, finding moments I really enjoyed, I enjoyed even more. But I've also found moments where I was like, oh God, I don't like this moment as much. And I don't know whether it was second time watching or the fact that I wasn't fully in it or I knew that it was coming. That there were some things in narrative and pacing with these 3 episodes that I actually found myself switching off, which is not gonna. I'm not gonna completely slate that and make that the thing like, oh, it's not actually that good. It is still very good. I still really enjoyed it. I still think that this is got to be one of the most groundbreaking superhero origin introductions to the MCU for a very long time in terms of the layers that this character has and how it's portrayed through the TV show. I love Moon Knight, and I will say that now, and I'm looking forward to see what happens next, but I'm a little bit worried at the same time. I don't know about you. There's no real news going on about Moon Knight and whether there's another series, or there's kind of hints that there's another series or that will be definitely kind of used in the movie projects coming up and stuff. But still, nothing really concrete. Oscar Isaac's performance just throughout, flipping brilliant, layered in every way with Mark, Steven. He just plays it to the absolute hilt, and it's enjoyable for me and enjoyable for the character in terms of developing it forward. So I think the first 3 episodes were good. We'll dive into each episode in a minute. But those are my overview thoughts. What are yours, mate?
Lovely overview thoughts. So for me, this is a new series. Hadn't watched it before. I kind of knew going into it, brand new territory. It's looking at Greek mythology. Is that correct to say?
It's Egyptian, isn't it?
Egyptian, so not Greek. Yes, definitely not Greek. Egyptian mythology.
Egyptian gods and stuff. Yeah,
it's looking at gods. And pyramids and things of old. That's what it's looking at.
It's not quite Greece, but
not Greece. There's no sea serpents or any of that. So it's deep rooted in Egypt. So
but actually, as you say that, as you say Greece and Egyptian gods and all that kind of stuff, there is a cosmic link in the MCU that is pretty much confirmed, because when we go later on, when we get to review Love and Thunder, there's a moment where we have Zeus on, and in that hall of the gods, there is a mixture of Greek gods, Egyptian gods, Aztec gods, all that kind of stuff. So there is a cosmic link. To be fair,
that's exactly what I was thinking of, as I said.
I know, mate. I know.
I know. So, 3 episodes in. I don't know how this ends. I don't know how the final 3 episodes go. I think I would agree that actually, it breaks new ground. It's really interesting. It's one of the most exciting ways to bring in a new hero. Likewise, there are pacing issues. These first 3 episodes in isolation, there are some pacing issues. There are some... I one particular character that I do not get on with. There is odd ways that they have like the exposition of certain story points are quite odd for me. But I overall really enjoyed it. Lots to talk. I've been really interested to start talking about this, just purely because actually I think there's quite a lot to talk about.
There is. I think you can break this down quite a bit, and we could talk about it for absolutely ages. But I think let's just crack on with episode 1 of Moon Knight. So Opening moments, mate. What do you think in terms of like meeting Stephen?
It's episode 1 by far my favourite of the 3 episodes. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it established its own identity. We get to meet the characters like really well. Oscar Isaac, I think, is brilliant. I love the character of Stephen Grant, and I love the kind of obviously, we're both British, so we're getting that kind of British humour, those British landmarks. It done a really good job in the first few minutes of episode 1 to kind of raise a lot of questions. What is the sand? Why is he handcuffed but not handcuffed? Leg cuffed. Why is he stuck to the bed? Leg cuffed. Is that a word?
Leg cuffed. Ankle cuffed.
Ankle cuffed. Chained to the bed. So many questions. But yes, I love that, and I actually, the first episode kind of answered those questions that you had, answered some of. There were quite a few questions that weren't answered in that first episode, but it did a really good job. It did a really good job of adding suspense. The cinematography was good. Really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, and that's the comedy from episode 1 was interesting.
Yeah.
When you get to episodes 2 and 3,
it felt like for a moment Edgar Wright did the first 20 minutes.
Yes, absolutely agreed. Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of the way that the lines were delivered, the comedy, the quickness of the shots. The way that there were some extreme close-ups. They were on a kind of like slight hilt, stuff like there were Edgar Wright-isms in this episode, and maybe that's what we enjoyed so much. And again, when Oscar Isaac isn't a British actor, so in terms of his accent, I think it's pretty good actually, and I think he does a pretty good job on the whole. But there were what's the song? It's called A Man Without Love, by and get this name, Engelbert Humperdinck.
Didn't he do Eurovision one year? Engelbert Humperdinck. I think
Eurovision. So.
Yeah. Great,
honestly,
man.
That is your mastermind thing, is then Eurovision. Yeah. You know your Eurovision, don't you?
I've heard the word Engelbert, and I've gone straight into Eurovision. Bish bash bosh, straight done. But yes,
it's a good song, right? I like it.
It's a fantastic song. What a song!
I think so. What's nice in this is that we don't meet him at a place where he's first discovering he's having these kind of out of body visions, or he feels like he's blacking out and becoming somebody else. We're kind of straight into it. We know he knows that he's been experiencing these types of things. He doesn't know why, doesn't know how, but we sort of come at a sort of like the beginning parts of him sort of understanding of what's happening, and as well when he then gets transported into a completely on that field for the first time when he wakes up and Mark's clearly gone on a mission. That's when it first unfolds. But in terms of the absolute cold opening, what did you think about Ethan Hawke's first bit? It's when he gets a glass, he drinks water out of it, he smashes it, puts glass in his sandals.
Yeah, yes. It was
a bit strange.
It was a bit strange, and again, it's kind of it kind of matches the weirdness with the sand by the bed, right?
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm aware, and like I say, I haven't watched the last 3 episodes. Within the episodes we've watched, there's still not an answer with that.
No.
And I don't know if that does that get answered?
What, the sand?
Yeah, he puts sand by the bed, right?
Yeah, he does. I think it's just a tactic, isn't it? He's got layers upon layers of tactics on trying to track whether he probably actually is leaving the house or not, or it's just dreams. Because he wakes up again, doesn't he, in the bed, and he's kind of like relieved that it was just a dream.
I see.
So he's not sure. I think that's what I mean by in terms of like he still isn't understanding fully what's going on, but he still thinks he's just dreaming, that he's somebody else, or he's experienced something else.
Yes. Yeah, I think maybe it required, for me, if this was truly Edgar Wright, it would have almost been like, I don't know, we would have seen the first night of it, or we would have seen a montage of dreams that has led him to this moment. I felt like it was missing that to kind of put the context in of being like, oh, okay, yeah, got ya. This is what he's doing, trying to work this out, right? And now we're at present day, and things are about to move up a notch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like it missed that for me. It was like, here's a lot of things to try and decode, which is great, but for me it was almost too. I just wanted like a 5 years earlier segment at some point that kind of went, this was the first time this happened, because he would, he doesn't know what's going on. So when when his body was first used as an avatar, then he wouldn't have known that, right? So why not?
I was thinking in the first episode, and I was like, why isn't Layla introduced earlier? Because he doesn't have like a sidekick or like somebody to work off of in his scenes. It's just him. And actually, you can tell that it was deliberately done, because in terms of the fact that he calls his mum and all that kind of stuff, he seeks solace in a statue outdoor art person, the man in gold. I think that those moments are really, really great. And also that, he's confused that he's been offered a date by this girl who he knows nothing of, who he works with. He's got no friends. Even the security guard doesn't know his name properly. So there's this kind of real isolation that Stephen Grant has, and you immediately empathise with him. Immediately. And you immediately kind of go, oh God, bless his heart. This is what he's like. And this is the thing. I know where this is going, and you don't. So I don't want to ruin anything here. But now, knowing where his character goes, and knowing the reveals we get later in the episodes, I can really see the detail in what's happening, and the isolation is more apparent for me in that character second time round. And I think that's a good testament to kind of how the direction was with that moment in this particularly in the first episode, and as well, Oscar Isaac's performance in that. But yeah, he's got nobody to kind of work off of, so it's us just following his story, his moment there,
which I really like, and I feel the kind of average guy life, right? I really enjoy that, and that's what brings the Edgar Wright out, I think. When you look at Shaun of the Dead, you're looking at Hoffa, these are just real people and real lives, and the kind of mundane lives, and then something extraordinary happening in that person's mundane life. And what I think, after the 3 episodes, I think the grandness of it all loses that appeal of the first episode. And I think it goes too big so quickly that it loses that essence of the first episode, which I really enjoyed. And I thought that was going to continue perpetually alongside whatever the main, Moon Knight-esque was going to be. It was kind of, I suppose, in a way, I felt it was going to be a show a bit like Dexter, and it wasn't. So it was going to be like, this is the guy by day, and then at night, Moon Knight go, mental things happen, or we meet Mark at night. But it wasn't. Mark just takes over, and I don't know. It felt like 2 different shows, and actually, I think I would have preferred the first one.
Yeah, I get you on that. I think I started getting, and this is the difference between the first time watching it, second time watching it, I started getting a little bit annoyed how quickly we kept going between Mark and Stephen in the first, those kind of he's blacking out, next moment it jumps, and then as these episodes go along, the kind of fleeting between, and then Mark taking over. It's kind of like whose story, because it is effectively two separate characters that we're seeing. So whose story are we following?
Yeah,
and investing in.
Yeah, exactly that, and it's like, and also, I think it's a weird one because at every stage I was like, oh, okay, that's the direction they've gone. Which ordinarily I would really enjoy something that's got like, oh, okay, this is a surprise angle, this is a surprise angle. But I think a lot of the times where there was a surprise angle, I was disappointed with the direction they went. So for instance, that first episode, we get Stephen is blacks out, and then we jump to the next Stephen moment, right? And the kind of a bit of humour is about suddenly he's dripping in blood, and there's been a thing, and right, and I really enjoyed that, and I thought, okay, what would be really cool now would be for episode 2 to cover the moments that we didn't see. So then we almost get like this episode 1 Spencer, episode 2 Mark, what happened in that kind of interlude, which then over the course of the series we then go, okay, that's why Mark's doing what he's doing, that's where, this is what happened to Mark, this is how Mark's actions are affecting Spencer's life. That for me would have been so fun to watch, whereas it was oh, here's Spencer, here's why you should love Spencer, straight to Mark, we're only going to concentrate on Mark now, Spencer will just be a backdrop. And I'm like, what? You just introduced me to a humour British like tale, like, and now it's just, okay, we're just in Egypt, and it's just gonna be trying to find what they're trying to find, and you've got to buy into that.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think that in part and parcel that is what Moon Knight is, in terms of the character. There is so much to kind of unpack with those characters in its own right. You've also got the thing of talking about Egyptian mythology and getting the audience to understand that on a base level as well, and knowing and understanding all these different gods, and even Ethan Hawke's characters used to be the avatar for Moon Knight. I like that concept, and what we didn't get in those first 3 episodes was a flashback, maybe as Ethan Hawke as Moon Knight. That's what I would have liked to have seen as a cold opening. Is either him as Moon Knight, departing as Moon Knight, or just being introduced to Moon Knight immediately, maybe by somebody else.
Do we
do at
get
the
that?
end?
No, but at the start, I thought, because we see Hawke, and then we see the suit in the middle of a pyramid. He's like stood up, like, and you just see his back. And I thought that was him in the Moon Knight in the costume.
No, that's just him walking, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe it is. He puts the shoes on. Maybe he just walks.
He just walks with his cane.
I thought you see the suit. Maybe not.
No,
maybe
I don't.
Not.
I mean, if you did, I missed that. Dear listener, do tell us if that is the case. But
yeah. So, and I think we're probably at the point already to kind of. I think episode 2, we're kind of leaning on to episode 2 purely because I found that episode 2, and please ignore the fact that Peggy is having a manic 2 minutes. I don't know whether she's just gone for a poo, and now she's got the zoomies. I don't know what's happening here, but she is absolutely jumping around like there's no tomorrow. So ignore that. It's madness. Starts looking at the roof and then starts jumping up on doors. It's bizarre.
Oh my god!
It's like parkour, Matt. But yeah, it's anyway. Sidetrack massively. But yeah, episode 2 for me is so much waffle. And so it's not filler because it's telling you what you need to know, but fucking hell, it happens in the most driest way they could possibly have done it. Harrow, and I think at the time is it Harrow and Stephen, or is Mark taken over? I think it's Stephen, isn't it? He's explaining.
Yeah,
it
it is.
Stephen,
Yeah.
and it's so dry. The conversations are so dry, and that's where you could have done with a flashback to be like, this is the story. This is like a bit more action to it. Like, who is Khonshu? Have I said that correctly? Probably not.
Yeah, Khonshu, you did.
Khonshu, oh, fantastic, thank you. Here's Khonshu's background. Like, these are massive tales. These are massive characters. Do it visually. Don't put a fucking one-to-one conversation where they talk about this whole history and all of this lore without us being able to actually watch any of it. Bizarre.
Yeah, absolutely, it's too much talking in episode 2, and maybe they felt like they need to just sort of just give the character development out a little bit more and to sort of like get the narrative driving. But mate, yeah, I was just like, I just want to see some more fighting. When they release and reveal Moon Knight in his outfit, it's such a cool outfit, and I've got to say, that's got to be one of the best outfits that I know in MCU kind of comic book history. 100%. Like the way it's put together, the mystique around it. It obviously gives us all. I don't know about anybody else, but dear listener, if you play Assassin's Creed, it gives me Assassin's Creed vibes, which is great for me because I was obsessed with those games when they first came out, just with the hood. But like, it's just so ominous. It's the fact that it's just, this all white outfit that's kind of mummified in a way when it goes on as well. The way that the suit goes on, it's just brilliant. And I wanted to see more of that. More moments of him just kicking ass. We do get it late, kind of midway through, when he has kind of like this outdoor sort of street fight scene where he's fighting the running scary dogs. Can't remember what they're called now. And Lada's there, sort of like talking him through it and all that kind of stuff. And then he and Stephen finds his own suit when he dons.
Oh yeah.
He got his own little smart version of Moon Knight, and I was like, brilliant. Because I was really interested when I first watched this. I was like, how are they gonna? We've got different outfits. Are they different people? Are they different superheroes? They are different. Alter egos of Moon Knight, which I think is brilliant. This kind of like smarter version. And again, that outfit's just absolutely brilliant. I'm really hoping, mate, at MCM Comic Con we're going to see a few Moon Knights, because you can bet your bottom dollar I'm getting some photos with them, because that is top of my list.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's such a clean outfit. It just looks
nice.
Clean. Like, it's not like that. It's not an Iron Man with loads of different embezzle bits and different colour. It's just clean, precise, just lovely, really nice.
There's Easter eggs throughout this whole series, but there is one in particular in the storage unit scene in episode 2. There's a QR code in the storage unit, and if you pause the frame and scan the QR code, they are all links to a comic book. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, you should do it. So for next week, try and find those QR codes in each episode, and then you scan it, and then it leads you to a comic book. But the reason why I'm saying this one, because episode 2 is actually a comic book that then goes to Werewolf by Night. Yeah, which is what we need to review, which is also, I don't know if you've noticed, coming out in colour later next month.
Can't wait.
Which
Absolute
I think,
buzzing.
When we get to it, do we watch it in colour or black and white, or do we do both?
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe we review one in colour. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe the first one we do colour and black and white.
Yeah. Cool. But that's the one MCU project I've never seen.
Yeah. Me and you both, mate. We're both coming in blind to that.
Yeah.
But so episode 2 we're kind of on, and as I say, the Harrow, we get introduced Arthur Harrow properly, having seen him in the first episode. We get we see a lot more of Mark, and we also get introduced to Khonshu. I think it's a big episode of kind of meeting several big parts to this series.
What's your thoughts on the look of Khonshu?
I I quite like it. It's gone a bit of a commedia dell'arte Italian comedy vibe, because it's that kind of trestle masky. Don't you think?
Are you saying Khonshu's funny?
Well, who knows, mate? Is that the image of his face?
I wouldn't say he looks funny. He does act. There are funny moments. To be fair, there are moments where he is quite funny. To be fair,
but it does look like a trestle. That looks like that looks like a comedian. An Italian. But I don't know because I've got Thing is, I've got nothing to base it on because I've never known that character before. Do you know what I mean?
It's the elevator scene for me where Khonshu kind of like arrives. It's still that kind of classic kind of like horror moment. But like, mate, I'd be shitting a brick if that was me. If Khonshu was coming to me like that, I'd be absolutely fucking running away, mate. Don't be a hero. I'd be running out that window. Yeah. Like, I absolutely love the look of Khonshu. The one gripe that I have with it's just just visual effects. I think on the whole, especially in that, if we go back to the first episode during that car chase scene, some of the visual effects with those cars going off the cliffs and all that kind of stuff, the boulders coming down over the cliffs, really bad visual effects, unfinished, unpolished. And I got moments like that with Khonshu where it just felt like I was watching a PS4 scene. But it is voiced by F. Murray Abraham, and I've got to say, his voice is incredible, absolutely brilliant.
I really love the voice of Khonshu, and I think episode 3, funnily enough, when Khonshu uses Mark to kind of speak through. When all the gods are kind of meeting.
All the gods are around.
And I love that, and I think the voice is outstanding. Like the voice work on that is brilliant.
So it's interesting. The Egyptian gods are effectively taking a book out of the scrolls identity, aren't they? Because these gods are inhabited by these human beings, and they speak on behalf of them. Is that right? Or are they the gods that are just living around the earth? I think it's the first one.
Yes, because and again, this kind of speaks volumes to the first 3 episodes. It's like you learn a lot, but you almost learn nothing. Like it took me ages to piece together what they were finding and why. It feels like a lot of different things happening, and you are, as the viewer, are having to kind of piece a hell of a lot of it together.
Yeah.
But again, I want to say again, I have not watched 4, 5, and 6. So I've got a feeling once I watch 4, 5, and 6, some of these questions inside my head where I'm a bit like, what is that? Hopefully will get answered.
Or not. You never know.
Well, yeah, that's probably 95% certain that I'll just be like, no, I still have no idea what this is about. Happy days. So episode 2, what we meet Layla.
We do indeed. Meet Layla, who is the wife of Mark Spector.
Yes, May Calamawy plays Layla, and I immediately want to say that actress, right? So May needs to audition for Tomb Raider.
Oh,
could you imagine that actress as Lara Croft?
Yeah, I can.
I think she'd be amazing, mate.
I think she's brilliant in this. Layla, the actress is absolutely fantastic, and I wish she was kind of introduced in the first episode because I'd like to learn more. And we do get, I think, there's something I think for her character that happens at the end of this series that I wish that it happened earlier because it's very cool. But I'll leave that as a little tease for you. But yeah, her performance is great, mate. Great.
Is brilliant, and really cool introduction. I like that she, one thing I got from episode 3 is that, and I don't know if I'm, reading too much into it, but she was giving Stephen the twinkly little eyeballs.
Is she falling in love with Stephen, or is it Mark that she's still like? It's like falling in love with somebody completely different. That's interesting. As a concept,
because it's basically like, Mark's the kind of prick that you want to be seen with because he's cool. I'm going out with the guy who's gonna punch you in the face if you dick around. Versus, Stephen, he's such a lovely guy. He comes up with such beautiful jokes, and we have so many interests that we can just spend the night looking at the stars and talking about what those planets are. It's just gorgeous.
You're such a sweetheart. I love
that. But it's true though, isn't it?
But it is true. It's true.
It's like I love that, and I really enjoyed that, and there's so many things in these 3 episodes. I'm like, more of that and less of that, and and I think we're talking about episode 2, so sort of rolling back a bit. What are your thoughts about Arthur Harrow and Ethan Hawke, who acts that character?
Yeah. I really like the concept that he was once the avatar of Moon Knight. I like the concept that he is serving Amit, and he wants to bring justice to the world. Very Thanos-y kind of vibes as well, in terms of like bringing everybody to judgment, and let Amit be the decider of that, serving something else, someone else, holier than thou, kind of all of that concept I like, but it's not new. Let's be honest, in the MCU, we've had that a lot. It just falls flat a little bit. He's not maniacal. He's also not completely evil. Like, I think there is also, he genuinely is concerned for Mark, because he's trying to find Mark, not Stephen, but then Stephen gets into the mix of it. He empathizes with him, and he wants to basically, you can tell, he just honestly wants to warn him, go, look, please don't listen to Khonshu. He will fuck things up for you. And so there's this kind of anti-hero-ness to him, maybe, but it's not really defined, which I think muddies his character a little bit.
Yeah, I think I agree with all of that. For me, he didn't stay truly evil enough for long enough. So first episode, first thing we see the tattoo, we see it, he kills someone because they're on the wrong side of the scales, all of that stuff, right? Yeah. And then he talks a lot. And then by the end of episode 2, he's just a regular character who's a little bit evil, but doing it for the right reason. Yeah. Whereas I wanted either more mystery for much longer, much darker, edgier character. You're not getting all the reveals from him. Maybe that second episode needed someone else to speak to Stephen about, like you say, bring Layla in earlier. Get Layla to do all of the kind of, here's where we're at, here's what's going on. And leave Harrow out of it to make him more of a mysterious character, so that in the end you then go, oh shit, so after all of this, actually he was doing it for the right reasons, or so that it either needed a character like that, or a character who is far more kind of almost Joker-esque. A bit more a bit more fascinating to watch, and a bit more off the rails, right? And a little bit more like, whoa, because he's just too in the middle vanilla for me. It's like, utter chatterbox and a little bit evil, and there's just no edge there. I'm just like, I find him a bit boring to watch.
I think that's a fair comment. It's a fair comment. I think he is a little bit, but I think it's at the detriment of not much clarity in terms of the actual direction of whether it's villain, anti-hero, vigilante, whatever, super villain, whatever it could be. But I do like, again, the mythical gods kind of concept to it. I enjoy. We do get more of that later in the episodes. But again, first time watching, I do remember kind of being like, oh. So I'll be interested to know if my thoughts change. Going into episode 3, what I mean in terms of, again, initial thoughts for me for episode 3, it starts very slow again. It just doesn't hit massively. The one bit I really enjoyed is where they go to the tomb and they have the fight sequence at the end there in the night time. That's when Ethan Hawke's Harrow turns up again. That final sequence is quite nice and climactic, but everything else in between just doesn't really hit. We do sort of get a little bit more about Layla and alluding to her father. So there's this, there's a couple of Easter eggs around, think about the fact that her father was a well-known archaeologist. And the thoughts are, and again, this is Easter egg, but whether her father discovered Khonshu's tomb and was killed by the Khonshu's tomb, by the discovery, that becomes an ulterior motive for Layla to destroy Khonshu altogether. You know, if I was watching this for the first time, seeing more resentment from her, to go, actually, Mark Spectre, I need to. Does she know that Mark's Moon Knight? She does, doesn't she? Yeah, she does. So it's about getting rid of that, I think, so she can, maybe get rid of Khonshu. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I was just having a look at my notes there, and Amit's tomb. You got Amit's tomb. Great Pyramid. You got the pyramids of Giza. You've got there's a lot of. I think the thing with this series so far feels like I actively am having to go online to read up about these things.
You are.
It doesn't feel like a contain. I'm going to get everything I need from these episodes, and that is where, for me, so far they've gone wrong. I would have preferred a much smaller chunk of a series that covered far less, but covered it in a far more interesting way. I don't know. I just feel like it's almost gone to the audience. Like, if you're either going to really like this because this is the type of thing you're into, or you're really not. Rather than we're going to convince you that mythology and gods and all of this is really interesting to watch, even if it is mildly complicated to understand.
There's and again, I don't know whether this is done deliberately or not, but there's so many references. I've just glanced at a bunch of Easter eggs. I want to say, and this is, so I'm looking at a website on BuzzFeed on episode 3 Easter eggs. I want to say out of the 20 that are here, about 12 of them are all references to comic books. So whether it's a line that then alludes to something that happened in the comics, the QR codes that are giving more context and references to the comics, I think that they actually are asking you to do more research, to either educate yourself about the Egyptian mythology and history, or to learn more from the source material in the comics. I do wonder whether that's a deliberate ploy, but I think that kind of falls fault to the actual narrative of the TV show. Because if you really are having to do some research post every episode, I mean, I do it anyway. I'm always going to go into New Rock Stars post an episode, or I always watch Emergency Awesome on YouTube. He's absolutely fantastic. But they give all kinds of insights and stuff into each episode. But do we have to do that? No. Do we just want to be able to sit and follow something easily? Yes. Do we just want a really good introduction to a comic book hero? Yes, we do want that. We do get it in certain bits, but again, just the first episode really hits for me. Second and third just fall flat a bit. And again, now thinking about it, I'm not overly excited to go into the 4th episode. I'm a bit annoyed about that. I'm sad about that because I did like it. So I'm why am I feeling like this now? It's interesting. I think there must have been another show that we've done that I felt like this, where I watched it the first. Oh, it was Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Watched it the first time, loved it. Second time round, like finding more moments where it would just upset me a bit more. But yeah, I know. Well, are you looking forward to going into episode 4, 5, and 6?
I don't know.
Are you getting fatigued already?
Not getting fatigued. It's just not. It should have been more episode 1, mate. It lent me into one type of a show and then completely changed what type of show it is. And the first version, first episode, is something I would avidly watch. I would watch that, Shaun of the Dead style comic thing with Egyptian mythology. I'm all over, right? An idiot's guide to Egyptian mythology. I'd have been all over. But no, it's changed far too much, far too quickly, and now I'm a bit like, yeah, I've got to watch it for next week, and hopefully I'll enjoy it. But I think if this was a casual watch, I think actually I would have gone, do you know what? I know the MCU. I know that we might not get another series. It's not looking like it's going to link incredibly into other MCU characters. So I think actually I'd have gone, yeah, I don't know if I need to continue. I'll watch it when I've got a bit of spare time. So, which is sad, but hopefully it will get better, and I'll be like, oh yeah, back on board.
What's your current crisp packet rating currently? And see, it'll be interesting to know if it changes.
Yeah, I think current crisp packet would probably be, what would it be?
It's difficult, isn't it? It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one.
This is a difficult
because there are some really good moments. There are some really good bits of action. There's. I mean, you talk about a layered character. Moon Knight is it. There's so much to unpack.
I reckon it would be. What's the? Oh Christ! What's that brand? That's the steak ridged crisps. McCoy's. Yeah. But it's cheese and onion McCoy's. So it's got the potential to be the steak ones, which are like that's why you might buy McCoy's. But someone's gone, they only had cheese and onion, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing.
And
they're really tangy.
Yeah. So I think it had the opportunity to be a steak, and it was cheese and onion. But I'm hoping
might graduate.
3, 4, 5, and 6. By 6, someone's gone. Oh, actually, mate, put those cheese and onion away. Guess what I found at the back of the shop?
Yep,
the old steakaroo.
Steak, yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to be going, oh, the steak. And I'm like, oh, this is just how I remember the McCoys. Just McCoy all over my face.
I'm going to say, sticking with McCoy's, these are like a half-empty packet of steak McCoys. What I want it to be is like a whole sharing pack. That's what I want it to be. But it's currently half-empty single pack. No sharer. But I want it to be a sharer. I want it to be full to the brim. But it's not. Yeah. But I'm hoping it will. Maybe the next episode, maybe next week, we'll watch 4, 5, and 6, and it just all kicks off. And again, I know where this is going, so I am very interested to get your thoughts on the twists here and there. But there is a lot of character development with Moon Knight. So I'd be interested to see what that is.
I'm adding to the analogy of the McCoys, by the way, mate, because I'm thinking about this. Really carefully here.
Yeah,
and it's also like, I was saying earlier where, there's surprises in the episodes, but they don't quite go the way you want them to. So it's almost like you've opened that, they've gone, oh, I found you a steak pack. You've gone, oh shit, it's half full. But not only that, you've opened that McCoy pack. They've given you a pack of McCoys with no ridges.
Oh my God, no.
So you're like, oh my God, that's a surprise. A nasty surprise.
No.
Yeah, it's like a Walker's crisp, but in McCoy.
And that's offensive.
Exactly. Exactly. Where's the taste? Where's the crunch?
Where's the crunch? But that is it. That is what the McCoys are all famous for. It's the crunch, right?
Yeah.
You go in there to get a hefty snack. That's what it is. It's a hefty crisp, right? You could, like, if you tried to break it in your hand, it would, like, embed into your palm. Like, it would say, it's so sharp.
I love
like,
that.
It's so hefty.
Yeah. Imagine what a reason for a first aid incident. Get me a plaster. Get me a plaster. I've been McCoyed.
I've got McCoyed. I've got a McCoy in me. Don't be so coy. I've got a McCoy in me.
See you next week, mate.
See you next week, my friend.
So 4, 5, and 6 next week. Looking forward to it. I'll see you
do
then,
it.
boy.
See you later. Bye,
Ciao
buddy.
for now.